J-Zilla. I have with me today here Craig Juday. How you doing, sir?
Good, man. Good to be
Yeah,
here.
man.
Haven't seen you in a long time. It's good to see you, man. Miss you, bro.
Oh man, miss you too. So what are you up to these days, man?
I think the same thing as you and a lot of us from our grades and days,
Mm.
kids, families, jobs, adulting 101, figuring it out.
I told you 101. We're gonna get into all of that. Where you at right now, career wise?
Man, I've been with the same Walgreens. I've been with them since I was like 18, 19. So I've been with them a long time. Um, Still managing, kind of
Mm.
store to store in Clarksville currently. But I don't want to jump too far ahead. But I'm looking to make a change here pretty quick.
Oh yeah, what kind
Yeah.
of change?
So I said I don't want to get too far ahead, but I've been for the last year and a half. It's become a big thing since COVID, day trading, people staying home and trading. Right, it's been a thing ever since
Right.
COVID. But I have been into that about a year or so before COVID started. Just been studying, learning, back testing, practicing, just in it, and been doing it more and more. And as time goes on, I'm having months or weeks where I'll make sometimes more than what I would make in my regular job. So once my wife, she just finished PA school, once she starts working full time,
Mm.
um, I'm going to transition into probably day trading full time.
Wow. That
Yeah.
sounds huge, man. Does that make you nervous? Are you like,
Uh, I, yeah, I mean, of course, like I've done what I've done at work for like, 15 years, give or take. So there's a level of comfortability, stability, just knowing what I got to do when I go to work every day and
mm.
knowing how to handle those things. So yeah, I mean, of course, doing something new there's some nerves involved, but man, I love it. I've been intrigued by the markets for a long time. I've dabbled here and there, didn't know what the hell I was doing.
Mm-hmm.
Just but I've always been intrigued by it. So I finally just buckled down, took some classes, and really just tried to figure this stuff out. And I'm
Yeah.
gonna I'm gonna make a go of it.
So when you say classes, are we talking like traditional universities? You go back
Nah,
to
it's been all online stuff because you can't really go sit in. I mean, I guess you could. You could go sit in the classroom, but if you go sit in the classroom, you're gonna see and hear the same things you would sitting in front of a computer anyway, because it's all done on your computer. You know what I mean?
okay.
Like you're looking at a screen regardless of where you're at, whether you're at home, an office, sitting by a beach, doesn't matter. You're looking at a screen.
Mm, that's true.
Yeah, yeah.
What kind of history or I guess background do you have in day trading?
Like I said, I just dabbled. I've been dabbling for years, winning and losing, mainly losing. Um, but like I said, I've always been intrigued by it. So
Yeah.
I finally, I mean, really, I give Jasmine a lot of credit because I saw her fight tooth and nail, going to PA school, doing what she loved. So really, I tried to do the same thing. I tried to do something that I was passionate about because I've always had the mindset of if somebody does something like you with this podcast, if you're doing something
Mm.
you love, I think you have a really good chance of making it successful and enjoying it at the same time. And if you enjoy it, you're just naturally going to do a better job.
Oh wow.
So she kind of inspired me to take that journey because I watched her do hers.
Mm.
So kind of where that started. She started school, and I kind of started at the same time.
That's awesome. So when you say PA school, for those of us who don't know, namely me.
Yeah, yeah. Sorry, it's so like nurse practitioners, PAs. Those are
Okay.
people like you and I, or your kids. If you take your kids to go see a doctor, like just for a regular checkup or a walk-in clinic or
Mm.
something like that, like ER stuff that she's informing me too, because I'm still learning. But 9 times out of 10, you're seeing a PA or a nurse practitioner. Like that's who you're seeing. So that's what she's gonna do.
Okay.
A lot
And
of
how?
school, a lot of heartaches, hardships, tough nights, but she made it.
The worst.
She says the worst. Did I
Yeah,
get that right? Yeah.
yeah.
So she's all done and started.
She just graduated this year. She's
Mm.
getting
I
credentialed.
start October 1st and my
October
first
1st.
bigger job.
Well, hello,
Yes.
Miss Jasmine. Come on, get in on this.
Hi.
I'm looking at my monitor over here. I can't see you.
She's not in the screen. She's talking off to the side.
Oh, he
Oh,
can't see you?
He can see me, but he can't see you too far away.
Yeah. Can we get a
Um,
cameo? Can we get a cameo?
Oh gosh.
she
Explain
just woke up.
yourself.
Hello.
Hello, Miss Jasmine.
Hi.
Hey. Oh, so I should look this way. Sorry, I got
I
the
don't
monitor over here, but you're over here. I don't know.
sure wherever
I'm
you can
torn.
see. I guess.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
It was
Hi.
nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
Now break this
What's your
PA thing. Make this P or break this PA thing down for us.
It's basically like a step below a doctor. Like I'll see patients and prescribe them medicines and fix them whenever they're broken. You know, things like that.
Okay. Sorry, I was. My wife is trying to sneak back in. I tried to mute it, but yeah. So that's pretty good. So what do you think about my boy here in the day trading? You excited about that? You're like, yeah, man, make it work.
Yeah, I did. I
She
helped
supported it.
fund
Yeah, I was gonna say she supported
his.
it since day one.
I just want him to do something that I think he's good at and that he enjoys. So
Oh,
I'm like, shoot, go on and do our little career change together.
Yep. Same time.
Yeah.
that is awesome. So by the time this airs, Elise, you remember Elise at all, Craig?
Smith.
Yeah, yeah. It's Elise Harper
Yeah, yeah,
now.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
So she was talking about like being in TV and making the switch in her 30s. Especially in these types of times. She's an Emmy Award winner. So she worked like behind the scenes on some TV there at I guess a local Fox station. Yeah, man.
I mean, I know news or something for a minute. That was the last I heard.
Hmm.
But that was years ago.
But she threw it all the way. It was just like, I want to try something else. She did some, what is it? What was it? Some coding? Yeah, so she's in like cybersecurity now. It's pretty cool. So
Oh,
kudos to
Nice.
everybody. And you know me, I've floated from job to job. So I'm really excited about this because I do enjoy it. Like you said, you enjoy it. It's a good chance that it's gonna do some things for you. So that's what we're hoping for.
Plus, it's just you just man, like there's days I go to my regular job and man, I know I just man, I'm pissed off,
I
tired.
quit.
Yeah.
I hate this place. That's it. I've had it. I'm
What?
done.
Like,
I'm coming home. We're done. I'm done.
Like-
Okay.
yeah, so I just want to do something. I just be a better person, probably a better father, better husband, less stress. Make more money. Just all good, all good.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
I know you're definitely
So-
one of the responsible ones out of our group. You're like, man, Craig has a house. Like a house? Yeah, a house. It's like, it is so great, man.
I caught a good deal in my early years. That's what that was.
Yeah. But you had the means to, jump on that good deal. At that time,
Yeah.
at that same
Worked
exact
off.
time, I was like, staying on the shore watching boats go by. Like, oh man, boy, if I could, that'd be a great deal right there. Oh, look at that.
Yeah, that'd be super cool.
Yeah, man. Well, nice to meet you, Miss Jasmine. Thank you so much for the cameo. I'm about to look.
Nice to
I'm about to hammer
meet
this
you.
dude now. You ready? Drink water time.
Let me have
Thank you so much. So look, man, what other side projects do you have? I mean, I'm sure you don't really have much time for side projects, starting a new career. But what you got going on?
Yeah, I mean, really, that's been my side project because there's most days I come home from work and I'm jumping on my computer and I'm digging into some lessons or I'm doing some back testing or I'm just looking at the markets from the day because when I'm at work I can't do what I want to do. I can't watch the markets. I've tried to trade a little bit from work. I had a little bit of success here and there. Sometimes I don't because I'm too involved with what's going on at work. So really, as soon as I get home from work, I'm digging into all that, putting a lot of time into that. So really, that's been my side project for a good year, two, probably closer to two at this point. Because I come home pretty much every day and I'm digging into that. Because every day is a new lesson. And I don't know how much you paid attention, but the markets this last year have been insane. Crazy.
Here, so
Crazy.
my wife is in the financial sector. I think is that all of my loud?
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
It's I've never seen nothing like this. Nobody has. This is unreal. New highs every day. It's like a roller coaster. It's just I can talk about it all day. It's crazy.
Oh man. So what about? So look, I had a follow up question, but first I want to know like what kind of hobbies you got going on.
Like I said, really, that's been one of them because I just
Mm-hmm.
enjoy that whole deal. I enjoy learning about it, watching it, listening to it. I listen to podcasts, I watch shows about it, everything. But obviously, I still love my sports.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I was playing in men's leagues, basketball here and there for a while. Um, obviously, still enjoy that. Our daughter, for a while, was getting into sports for a period of time. That was fun.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, our youngest, he's 5, so when you got a young one, that absorbs a lot of time from any hobbies you have to
Mm-hmm.
that. So yeah, man, that's really all hobby wise that I'd say I got right now.
Right. So who's your
Kids and
go-to? Who's your go-to when you're listening to stuff? You know, I'm assuming about the market.
man, there's some different people on Twitter I follow, and they have different podcasts that I listen to. Tim Grittani, Stephen Ducks. I could go on and on with names. There's a lot of people I listen to. John Papa's a good one, but there's a lot of people out there that I listen to and follow that kind of trade similar styles and
Mm-hmm.
sectors that I'm into. So I kind of listen to them. Wolf of Wall Street's got his own Twitter
Like the
handle.
Wolf of Wall Street.
Not sure. No,
Oh,
it's a
okay.
different guy. It's a different guy. But yeah, I mean, and there's different podcasts and stuff I listen to. Of course, you can sit there and watch MSNBC all day long if you really want to. So yeah, I kind of just really it's all there. Internet, it's all at our
Yeah.
fingertips.
But there's so
You
much
know.
information out there. How do you know like what's good and what's not? Is it trial and error or what do you got going?
I think a lot of that depends on what you're trading or what I'm trading. If I'm doing small caps or certain sectors, that's what you focus on. Tesla, I don't know how much like I said you've listened to, but Tesla's been a
Oh
hot
man.
topic for at least the last 6 months. Well, first of all, there's a lot of BS, man. It's you can get on Twitter and read so many BS promotions and promoters and fake news as we keep hearing from old Trump these days. But I think really if you're looking for relevant news, it depends on what type of sectors you're involved with, what kind of caps small caps, large caps. Really your whatever it is you're doing as a trader and what sectors you're into, that's going to determine what you filter. And then from what you filter, you got to do your D&D due diligence and just really dig in and figure out what is and isn't real. And really a lot of that just for me, and I could go on about this for days too. I'm big with what are called SEC filings.
Hmm.
A lot of times if I don't see it in an SEC filing, I'm not gonna hold a lot of weight into it.
Oh, okay.
But if I see an SEC filing and know it's legit, that's been authentically filed through the exchange commissions, great. But if I'm seeing it on Twitter or some random website, I'm not going to really hold that into high regard. So I think the source for me is huge. But I will look, depending on what it is, if I'm looking for just straight up momentum on a stock or for it to rock it up, I'm looking for the BS and the promoters because I want those guys to push that fake stuff. A lot of times these people who are uninformed in these, they just call them Robin Hooders or retail traders.
Mm.
They'll jump all over that. So I'll just ride that up and ride it down.
So you're gonna have to break all this terminology down for me. So
I'm
like, I
sorry. I'm
know
sorry.
SEC. When you said SEC, I thought the Southeastern Conference, but I know he's talking about the Security Exchange Commission. But
Yes.
so yeah, break
Yes.
some of that stuff down. Like when you say large and small caps, what does that mean for
Those
you?
large cap stocks, large cap companies, Tesla, Microsoft, Apple, Google, Netflix, those are the top dogs everybody's heard of. Small caps and micro caps are companies you've probably never heard of that are complete, excuse my language, but shit. They're just shit companies.
Mm-hmm.
90% of them or more fail,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't care. I'm not an investor, right? I'm not investing in these companies long term. I'm just trying to catch meats of these moves to make some money. So I don't really care if these companies fail or not. I don't have any, my well-being is not tied to the well-being of the company. Don't care.
Man,
So
that is rough. Who hurt you? What happened to my boy Craig?
Jasmine abuses me, man.
Just blink twice
No,
if
it's
you
just
if you need some help, man. I got you.
yeah. get out. It's the get out moment.
Oh no.
No, I'm kidding. Yeah, I mean, so the small caps are, people often classify those with risky, and they're not wrong. They are risky because they're crap companies. The CEOs, everything about it, everything's shady. CEOs are shady. The promoters are shady. The deals are shady. They could flat out lie. Like I said, I don't care about any of that. I'm just catching these moves. That's it. That's all I'm doing.
Man, I was just listening to something that we were talking about. What was it? There's two lines, right? One is completely empty, one is completely full, and above it, I guess it related to like weight loss. Above it, the guy with the empty line, it said diet and exercise, and the other line that was full of people had pill. So I feel like a lot of people, when I think of traders, I think of people looking for that one pill, that one thing is just gonna blow up. This crap company, it blows up overnight. I'm rich and famous.
That's a perfect analogy. Perfect analogy. So many people want to catch one trade and make $1 million. Like, it doesn't work like that. It's just small gains adding up over time. Like having a process, having an edge, and just executing it time. But you got to be able to adapt. You got to adapt to the market because the market's always changing. But it's just finding your edge, finding your system, and doing the same thing. And yeah, I'm not going to make $1 million overnight, but small gains add up. So yeah, you're absolutely right. That analogy is perfect. It does, and this is hard. I don't want to. It's hard. I've studied a lot. I've lost a lot. Screen time is huge. You just got to put in screen time. That's what it comes down to.
You're telling someone who's trying to start out, like, hey, I'm thinking about day trading. What's the first thing that comes out of your mouth? Besides, don't do it.
It's hard. Yeah, it's hard. And if somebody's really gonna go down that road and really try to make something out of that, you can't half-ass it. You can't even 90% it type of thing. I mean, you really have to put a lot of yourself into that. You have to keep up with the markets. You have to constantly study. The markets are always changing. You have to adapt. It's tough, man. It's hard. But I also think once you have some of these aha moments, there is opportunity there. One, financially, but just, I think for me, more importantly than just financially, is just doing something, like I said, that I love and having time. There's been days where I've stayed home and traded for weeks at a time or whatever when I was on vacation. And if I have a good morning, I could be done by, I've either made my money or hit a max loss or whatever the case may be, but I could have the rest of the day to do whatever I want to do. I mean, it's me, it's my time. I can use that time however I want to use that time.
Yeah.
I look forward to Mondays when I'm doing this. Most people in their jobs don't look forward to Mondays. I currently hate my Mondays in my current job. I dread Mondays, but when I get to the point of trading full time, I'm looking forward to Mondays. Like, for sure. It's a game changer. That one thing I'm looking forward to Mondays, huge.
What happens on Mondays? Why is it different for your day trading?
Markets are closed on the weekends.
Oh, so everything's getting revved up.
So, yeah, the markets are closed on the weekends. News has been traveling all weekend long. Everybody's kind of zoning on their TVs and playing catch up. And then Mondays, the markets are moving pretty hard because everybody's played catch up all weekend long. So come Monday, the markets they're amped up. A lot of moves. Usually Mondays and Fridays are the big days.
Yeah. Tell me about your worst day trading, and then we'll follow that up with your best day. You don't have to get into it now. It's just like something you were looking at. Like, what happened? Take us kind of through that.
Yeah, my worst day. My worst day was early on. I was still learning the process and my own mindsets and how to cope with certain things. Anyway, I bought into a stock that I believed the hype, which is mistake number one. Like I said, unless I have an SEC filing or something legitimate, you can't buy the hype. But I bought the hype. I was buying into all this stuff I seen on Twitter and all these random ass internet websites, and I was like, oh, this is going to be huge. So I bought into a stock, took a pretty big position actually, and it started to downtrend on me. And I was like, that's all right, it's just a little downtrend. I'm gonna ride it out, see what happens. Well, I rode it out for way too long, and took a big loss. But I have rules that I follow when I do this. I didn't follow any of my rules. I bought the hype.
Mm.
I made a ton of mistakes looking back. So many mistakes that obviously I don't need to make again. But uh, that was my biggest dollar
Mm-hmm.
loss, and I broke every rule I had. Every rule.
Okay.
Big loss. Wife don't know about it,
Oh, sorry,
but
Jasmine.
yeah, it was a hit to one
Mm-hmm.
confidence. The broker account. It was a hit multiple reasons, but this was, oh man. You know what made this really bad is it was before I think it was November
Mm-hmm.
last year. So going into Christmas time, I'm trying to get money for kids'
Oh
Christmas
no.
presents and stuff. It was a big hit. So, and this was early on, so I didn't have a very big account. Broker account was pretty
Mm-hmm.
small. Is a big hit. So dollar wise, is that what you're
No,
looking
no, no,
for?
no. You don't have to say dollar amount. Just what
Okay,
kind of
yeah,
the
it was
things
it
that
was
led you
bigger than
to that. So let me ask you about
yeah,
this
it was.
loss. When you say take a loss, how does that work? Like, when does it actually count as a loss?
There's a saying that goes around. You don't take the loss until you sell. So some people could just stay red in the stock, for months, years, days,
Mm-hmm.
whatever. I day trade. I don't hold much overnight. On occasion I do, but the saying is, it's not a loss till you sell. But I don't try to play like that. But I mean, if you're buying a stock, just say at $1 a share, and it goes down to 50 cents a share, and you bought 100 shares, you're down
Yeah.
$50. So, um, again, it's not a loss to you sell, but when you start seeing that red number get bigger, it gets scary.
Mm.
So I don't really buy into that. Oh, it's not a loss till it sells because it could bounce back up, but it could go lower.
Yeah.
So I'm one that cuts. I cut quick. If I'm down, I cut. I don't. I don't wait it out.
Have you ever
It's not doing what I thought it would do.
mm,
I'll cut it.
have you ever regretted a cut? Like, oh my goodness, if I'd have just held on.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
No, absolutely. That happens. I'll buy into something and I have a plan in my head of what it should do, and it could go the opposite direction of what I thought. So I cut. And then 10 minutes later, 30 minutes later, end of the day, whatever, uh, it goes crazy. And FOMO, fear of missing
Oh
out,
yeah.
strikes.
Right.
But I mean, it is what it is. You just can't worry about it. There's 1,000 plays a day, and 1,000 days. You just keep it moving. They used to tear me up. I was like, oh man, I was
Right.
right, but I wasn't right. I had a plan in my head and it didn't work, so I did what I was supposed to do. I cut, moved on.
Mm-hmm.
More times than not, I don't miss out. More times than not, I'm right. I cut for the right reasons. But yeah, there's been some plays that have freaking skyrocketed after I'm out. But there's always going to be another play.
Man. Yeah,
So
that sounds scary
yeah,
for me. Like, that's too much responsibility. Like, I'm definitely
yeah.
keep my head down and like grind out some work, but that's terrifying.
I think it just fits my personality. I don't get too wound up about things.
Anything.
I'm more of a factual guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty even keel. I can look at numbers to make decisions. I don't get too emotionally involved with things. I
Mm.
just make an analytical decision, better or worse.
What does an angry Craig Juday look like? I don't think I've ever seen it.
Uh, Man, he don't come out too often. But when he does come out, it's like the Hulk.
No
Um,
way. I can't see
he
it,
stays,
man.
he stays pretty well locked away. I think the kids have probably seen me more angry than
Mm.
anybody. Jasmine's seen me upset before, obviously,
Right.
but I mean, I can hawk out. I can have a moment where I lose control. Um, I remember I had one when Sebastian was like 2 or 3. That was pretty eye
Mm-hmm.
opening, actually. But yeah, I've gotten mad.
Yeah.
Me and Jasmine, there's been times, you hear about it, but us being a mixed couple, sometimes we get shit, whatever, from
Yeah.
people or wherever we're out, or, with the kids or whatever. But there's been a couple times her and I have been out, and we get some looks or some people say some things, and she's had
Yeah.
to kind of reel me back in a few times over.
Now, which one of y'all are
Uh,
the most likely to say something first, personality wise?
Probably her. Her. She's gonna be the one to say something. I'm more the one though that's gonna like let it pent up and build up to a point where then I just kind of explode. But she's better about not holding it in and letting it out when it's a little easier to let out. But that's the whole yin and yang thing, right?
Yeah, man. So what are your how are you proactive about knowing that can be an issue? You know.
I think it just took time and unfortunately repetition to a point where you become somewhat numb to it, I guess. I mean, that sucks to say, but I think realistically, the first few times we dealt with that type of stuff, it was new for me. I'll just be real. As a white guy, never had to deal with that type of stuff ever. You know, it wasn't a thing. But then when we got together, that was the first time that I personally had to deal with that type of stuff. So when it first happened to me, the first few times, I didn't take it very well. I remember one of the first times that happened, we were out eating at a restaurant, and this old white lady, like, was giving me, both of us, a crazy look, and I was ready to fight this old white lady, like crazy. But as time's marched on, I just kind of laugh at it or whatever. But yeah, it just took, unfortunately, time and repetition. Not saying it's an easy pill to swallow, but just maybe handled it better. From an anger perspective, anyway, where people see.
I know, man.
So
I imagine that's tough, especially like because growing up, like for me, growing up black, it's just a certain amount of stuff that just happens. Right. Kind of like you said, it's unfortunate, but it's like a necessary defense mechanism to just become numb to some things. But I couldn't imagine just being like, yeah, man, not so bad, just going through living my life, and then bam, like, well, why is she looking at us like that? And then having to have everything kind of explained to you. She looked at us because of who we are, and all this kind of stuff.
Yeah,
I imagine that's
tough. That wasn't easy.
Yeah.
I mean, because we started dating when I was 28. I should know this, 28-ish, give or take. For 28 years, I didn't deal with stuff like that. Yeah. Nobody in my family has. I haven't. I've seen friends maybe go through it in small moments of passing. You know what I mean? Nothing serious.
I got one for you.
But then yeah.
No, I was letting you finish. Sorry.
No, that's pretty much it. Really, just when her and I got together, though, after being on this earth for 28, 29 years, never dealing with it directly, to then suddenly dealing with it directly, that was a major adjustment, to say the least.
And without mentioning any names, like the only name I'll mention is Sadiq, because he's not on anything. But do you remember Sadiq and I coming into your house and then getting a phone call from a person, kind of questioning us about I think it was like missing dishes? I'm gonna get the monitor here.
No, I don't remember. Man. I'm trying to think about it.
When it came over, it was a house in Clarksville.
Came to my house?
Yeah. And
you came to my house in Clarksville?
Yeah. And we had.
And you got a phone call about missing dishes?
Yes, we were at a mutual friend's house, and there was like she was having a get together, and she calls us crying, just like, "Hey, have you right?" Without mentioning names, because no hard feelings or anything, but it was like a weird moment of seriously, you've known us since childhood,
I do. Yes, I remember that now.
Yeah, and it was just like, oh, that's weird. And then we went on with our night, So it's that sort of thing of like, that sucks, but here's what it is, especially with us too.
That now. For me in that time and moment, I probably didn't really think much of it because it didn't involve me directly.
Right.
Man, but now I'm more just aware, I guess. I do remember that. Wow.
I know it's a throwback, but it's like you said, like for us, we've become accustomed to stuff, and it don't even have to necessarily just be about race, right? Like you're day trading. You're going to get to a point, as excited that you seem and all that energy that comes through when you're just talking about it.
Right.
I feel like you're going to be really successful at it. And so when you get to a different level, even financially, it's going to be like, whoa, like, why are people acting like this now? It's like, well, because we got money now, baby. It's like,
It's
so it's
funny.
always a shock to the system.
Yeah, people, as soon as I tell people that, because like I said, ever
Mm.
since the pandemic has taken hold, you hear about people day trading more frequently because they're stuck at home, so they're trying to figure out ways of making money.
Right.
And a lot of people right now day trading are doing better than they do on average because the market's been so insane.
Yeah.
I think it was like Mark Cuban that said, if you can walk and chew gum, you can make money day trading right now because the market's been so crazy.
Right.
I don't think it's that easy, but it's a crazy market. But anyway, people when they first hear about me trading, they're just, oh, you're one of those that started this during the pandemic. You know, a lot
Right.
of that. You know, I'm
Yeah.
like, oh man, this has been coming for a long time. The pandemic just really I don't know, brought day trading to a light that it never was in.
Mm-hmm.
But it's been great. I think part of the reason we've had this crazy market is people are stuck at home. So
Right.
there's a lot more of these retail traders and Robin Hooders that are just blindly making some trades and they're making the market go crazy. And I love it.
Mm.
Love it. Been great.
Yeah,
But
man.
yeah, man.
How do you prepare for like the possible kind of downslope? Like if we get rid of this pandemic stuff and everything starts to return back to new, which I don't think is ever going to be the same. Especially all those people who are like, "Hey, man, I've been working from home for the last 6 months. Like, come on,
Oh
I know
yeah.
you can do
Yeah.
it now. Like, is that going to change some negotiation tactics?"
Yeah. It's gonna slow down.
Yeah.
Ebbs and flows, you know, usually going into elections historically, things get a little crazy. After the elections, they tend to calm down.
Mm-hmm.
We've been in a bull market for a lot of years, and at some point the market has to correct itself,
Well, you sound like
and
my wife.
it's gonna happen.
Yeah.
It's gonna come eventually. I don't know when. I would have thought it would have came during this pandemic,
Mm.
but it's been crazy because during this pandemic the market has had days where it's just exploded. It's been unlike anything anybody I think would have ever predicted. But regardless, yeah, it's gonna happen. And I think that's where people who are really disciplined and who really have a foundation and some knowledge built up are going to be the ones that survive. Um, you're going to have to be more meticulous.
Right.
You're going to have to be patient. You're going to have to pay more attention to setups and different algos and stuff like that.
Algos, is that algorithms?
Algorithms, yeah.
And bull market.
Two,
See, you got to break all this stuff down, man. I don't have no time to
a
Google
bull
everything.
been like this, just on an upward trend for yeah, been like that. Eventually it's going to come back down, but I also I'm probably a little more. So there's two different types of trading you can do. You can either do long bias trading, which is buying low, selling high. That's what everybody knows.
Mm-hmm.
But you can also do what's called short selling, which is actually the opposite. You're actually buying high and selling low. You're actually betting on a company to fail.
Wow.
So I, in this current bull market, have found myself to be much more long biased because of the way the market's been. But when we inevitably hit this bear market, I know, just knowing my styles and how I adapt, I will become more short biased and I will do more short selling when the market isn't, you know, running crazy and the Dow's not making new highs and NASDAQ's blowing up, you know, all this crazy stuff. But yeah, I'll become more short biased when that moment comes. But there's more risks involved with short selling, but that'll be how I probably tackle that.
Okay.
At least in theory.
Yeah. So
We'll see what happens.
if you look at you said you looked at a lot of Twitter and listen to a lot of podcasts. Do you ever like mind like social? I guess not social media, but any sort of multimedia in order to get some leads.
Yeah, to be honest with you, a big part of the reason I'm not, man, just to be honest, I suck at social media. I'm not good at it. I don't post much on Facebook.
Yeah.
I don't post much on Twitter. I'm really only on Twitter. I follow a lot of these promoters.
Mm-hmm.
I follow a lot of CEOs and different things, or if I'm, you know, wanting to do some due diligence on a company, yeah, I'll follow their CEO or whatever on Twitter. But I do absolutely use social media to make decisions. Not that I believe what they're saying, but sometimes, like I said, these Twitter promoters and email blasts and BS random news websites will promote these stocks, and I'll just ride the promotion either up or after the promotions ended, I write it down. So yeah, absolutely. I use actually one of the it's called a scanner.
Mm.
I use a certain scanner to find stocks that I'm fit certain criteria that I'm trying to play.
Mm-hmm.
This scanner has a built-in social media tool that I use in conjunction with everything to find these promotions going on. Really, what it comes down to is you can find a stock and a lot of tweets. You know it's getting pretty heavily promoted. If it doesn't have a lot of tweets, you know that there's just not really much going on. It's not a lot of internet chatter about it. So yeah, absolutely, you can use that as a tool. You know, could be one of your catalysts. I'm not saying it's the end all be all make decision, but it helps you inform
Mm-hmm.
your decision for sure. Absolutely, social media is very
Which is
powerful.
crazy. Like if you think about world population versus how many people are on Twitter, it's very minuscule. I guess that's one way of looking at it. If you look at it the
Uh,
other way, it's like that is a large sample size, right? When you're looking at trends and
yes,
things of that nature.
yes, social media is very powerful. Uh, Email blasts aren't really a thing anymore like they used to be when these companies are trying to promote their crap companies. They would do
Mm-hmm.
these email blasts. They don't even really do that anymore. Now they just use Twitter to promote everything or Facebook, Instagram, whatever. Twitter's the main
Mm-hmm.
avenue for that, at least that I found. Yeah, absolutely. Very powerful tool, and they take full advantage of that. And people believe it, man. Like, you know how it is. People see it on the internet.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's true. How many times have you posted something on Facebook or Twitter back in the day because you thought it was true, and then you find out it's like full of holes,
Right.
fake, whatever? Like, we've all been guilty of it. Um, so yeah, keep it down,
Oh,
please.
oh, you're fine. So anytime there's some sort of ambient noise or anything, because I didn't hear anything, but if you hear something just like,
Oh, okay,
"Hey, can we stop there?" I'll just make a little note at the time. Boom, and that's when it'll get cut. Where am I? I can't see. Oh, okay.
cool.
Yeah. Um, so we'll go back into talking about social media because look, it's funny. I didn't know that you were a day trader. So in my mind, I
Well,
had
to be
all these
honest with
like
you,
Walgreen questions.
no, no, it's cool. Yeah, obviously I've been there
Mm-hmm.
a long time, but to be honest with you, I've kind of, like I said, I don't social
Yeah.
media much personally. I don't put a lot of stuff out there. So I've not. There's not a lot of people that know this because I'm not one to post it on
Mm-hmm.
social media. It's not something I just talk about all the time. I've kind of just stayed my lane and done
Mm-hmm.
my thing and studied and practiced and got involved with it. But I don't talk
Mm-hmm.
about it a lot. You know, like I don't think a lot of people know that outside of my immediate family and some very close friends. It's not a known fact, I
Right.
guess.
Right.
I haven't posted it to
To
the
the
interwebs,
interwebs.
and really, my Twitter handle is not social. I don't, I have no college friends, high school friends,
Mm.
work friends. I just use it as an avenue for information for trading. So Twitter is kind of a undercover me.
Okay.
You know, like it's not
Yeah.
out. You know, I don't have it
Like the
posted
NBA
anywhere.
fake account of Karen Durant or somebody. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, it's like a burner
What is it
account.
called? Burner
Burner account when
account.
people have those
Yeah.
fake handles.
Yeah.
Yeah, Kevin Durant,
KD.
the KD.
Yeah. Oh
Yeah, that's kind of what my
yeah.
Twitter is. It's off the grid. You know, it's hidden.
I wonder. I mean, see, I don't know much about it, so I don't know if companies are already using Twitter in that nature. But I mean,
Oh
just
yeah,
even civilians, or like we said, KD. Like if I'm playing a guy, I want to look through his Twitter. Like, oh yeah, he's having troubles. That's the dude I'm going at. He's over here having a Twitter fight
yeah.
with
I mean,
a family member or some girl. Is like, oh, okay, yeah, I'm about to roast this dude.
yeah. Some people, man, put it. I mean, you've seen it. Some people we went to
Yeah.
school with put it all out there on Facebook, all out there on Twitter, Instagram, whatever. Like their whole life is out there as a book, and then they'll post something that be like, "Oh, people are always in my business," and I'm like, "You post your whole life story.
Right,
How are we not
right.
in your business? Like, what do you?"
Yeah. People,
So, yeah,
yeah, people laugh. I think I was off for almost 6 years, so almost the like duration of my marriage. Um, or I guess,
yeah,
yeah.
you
And then
work.
so
Um,
now I'm trying to get back to it, and I've got like a couple of basically kids, my kids and other kids just helping me like, yeah, you gotta say this, you gotta do this. It's like, oh my goodness, like if I'm having to take advice from these people, like, should I actually be on here? But it's almost necessary in some things
yeah,
that you do. Yeah. So getting to your family there,
I,
how do you balance your time, man? Because you got the job, you got the day trading, that's going to overtake the job. How do you balance that with family time?
yeah, probably not very well,
Mm.
to be honest.
So
um, Man, I mean, I try, like, cause the thing is, my regular work hours, they're tough. Um, I usually get to work before
mm,
6 a.m. and then I usually get home between 3 and 4 p.m. And then when I get home, that's usually around the time the kids' bus is getting
mm,
home too. But when I usually get home, I'm trying to kind of plug into my computer and either dig into some stuff on the markets or listen to some trading stuff or read something about trading. I'm trying to do
mm,
that thing at least for an hour or two. But at that point, you're pushing 5 6 p.m. dinner time, kids' beds time,
yeah,
all that type of stuff. So it is tough to balance. There's some days I try to take certain things out of the equation entirely, whether it's not getting on my computer or trying to be very limited or coming home and just helping around the
mm,
house or whatever. And to be honest with you, sometimes I come home and see what the situation is at home to try. So yeah, that's a long way of saying probably not very well.
man. And don't be.
Um,
I
it's
would
tough.
say don't beat
It is
yourself up
tough.
too much. We're all out here trying to figure this out, especially us parents. Like looking at my mom now with my dad eyes, I was like, man, she really had no clue on some stuff.
I don't know how I still,
Yeah.
now that you mention that and thinking about, I mean, just thinking about you in high
Hmm.
school and your mom, how many three on that car at all times? And she was
Yeah.
working and trying to go from place to place to place.
Hmm.
I don't know how that woman's a saint.
Man, she's
I don't know
absolutely a
how she
trooper.
is.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
So yeah, it's all her. You remember the Gales Mobile, the little Nissan Sentra?
yeah, that's exactly what I'm thinking about.
Yeah,
That's exactly what's in my mind right now. I was thinking about that car with all four of y'all in that car,
yeah,
and that poor woman had to get you somewhere
hmm
and your sister somewhere. Plus, she was working. Like,
yeah.
that's what I'm saying. I don't know how she did all that.
Me
That's
neither.
amazing.
So imagine me. Here I am. I feel almost spoiled, having somebody help with all that, because there are times I'm just like, oh, I'm so tired. I was like, man, but how did my mother do this?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. And she was always happy.
Oh
Dude,
man,
like I never saw your mom not be happy.
man.
Like, and she may have faked it. I mean, the cool fake it till you make it. But I mean,
Yeah.
damn, none of us knew. Like, she
Pretty
was the
consistent.
happiest woman in the world.
I think
Yes.
she really enjoyed what we were doing. It was stuff that she didn't get to do, and so it's something about that next level thing, right? So even like with you, I know you feel pretty good about your life, what you did and went through and didn't have to go through. But even now, you gotta feel that level of like, man, see, we didn't do this as a family unit, whether it be like your group family or, you and your lady there. You gotta feel that kind of pride of like, yeah, I stepped it up here. I'm doing good. That's the stuff you want to really
Yeah.
pay
Yeah.
attention
Yeah.
to. Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
No, I've thought about that for sure. Because my parents, both of my parents, actually, nothing. I would obviously never talk bad about my parents, but
Mm,
they both went through multiple marriages.
mm,
Jasmine's parents, same way. So we're both trying to approach it from like, look, we're one and done. Like, this is it.
yeah, man.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
Your Pokemon. I choose you.
yeah, like we're locked in. So
yeah, man.
um, yeah, so it's trying to do something different than what those before us did.
Right,
Yeah, absolutely.
man. Lots of
Yep.
work, lots of communication. Like I think that's the thing. We come from this Disney generation of like, oh hey, I love you too, and then we'll just live happily ever after. It is work.
Yeah,
Like it's not about
it
like
is.
you don't have any time. You have to make time. Like that's a new concept for me. I just as a single person just kind of floating here and there and nap whenever the hell I wanted to. So,
Yeah, man.
yeah, man.
I did not realize how much of a luxury time was
Time.
until I was
Yeah.
involved with this relationship with Jasmine and then now the kids. Like, yeah, because when I was single or even just dating, like when you're in high school,
Hmm.
college, whatever, dating somebody, you still had all the time in the
Yeah,
world. But
man.
now I've quickly realized, like I said, when I come home, I might have an hour to myself to like do something on the computer or look at the markets or whatever. And that's it. It's all I got for myself in a day. The rest of the day is consumed with work, kids, You know what I mean? Like you don't have a lot of time for yourself. So yeah, time is a luxury that I didn't realize was a luxury until wife and kids, man. It's been an adjustment for sure.
I don't know, man. And you and I both were Insta fathers, right?
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
man.
Because prior to Jasmine and Aaliyah, uh, man, I was 28, 29 years old
Mm-hmm.
when we started dating and all that good stuff. So yeah, for the first 28 years living, uh, I did what I wanted when I wanted.
Mm-hmm.
No rules. Could stay up all night. You know what I mean? Like
On the
you
sticks.
remember we go out in
Yeah.
Nashville, be out till 2 or 3 a.m. Wake up at 6, 7 o'clock, go play basketball for 4 or 5 hours, and then
Nice.
do it all over again.
Yeah, man.
But obviously, we don't do that anymore.
That seems like a whole
Fun
nother
time.
life, doesn't it?
Yeah, it was. It
Yeah,
was. It
man.
was all. Yeah, absolutely. Whole nother state of life right there.
Yeah, yeah.
Good time though.
But I mean, you talking about having to mature really quickly. My wife had two children before. I was back in the pit. We dated in high school. She went to Central. We dated in high school. She dumped me.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, yeah. She dumped me. Years later, realized her mistake, and now we're together. We're gonna live happily ever after, with a lot of
Right.
elbow grease. But getting
Yeah.
here and like just little things that we had to think about that other new couples didn't. Like this whole thing of,
Right.
hey, if you're with her, you're with the children too. So literally, us
Yeah.
like, all right, let's keep the goalie in. Because I've always wanted, a family and kids. So we were like, all right,
Right.
let's keep the goalie in. Let's take 1 year before we try to, have another kid, just to get used to this, new blended family. And man,
Yeah.
like, I had this weird thing, like, cause I used to babysit a lot. Our mutual friend Brian Zayden, he was one of my little Jordan there. He's
Yep.
not so little anymore. Good night, we're getting old. Yeah, just babysitting a lot of kids, and I was like, man, I got it. I know exactly what everything takes, right? And then
Mm-hmm.
becoming a father, and it was just like, I don't know anything. I thought I had some controls. Like, yeah, they do this, I'll do this. If this happens, I'll say, I had the whole thing, right? Just hubris, and
Yep.
just really, they teach you a lot, man. Yeah.
Oh, well, for sure. I think because I kind of did the same thing. Through college, I would babysit some of my friends' kids.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like you. In the moment, I thought I was like, I got this thing figured out. I could have a kid, handle it, whatever.
Yeah.
I had no clue. But two, I think when you're babysitting kids that aren't yours, they act really well for you, or better.
Better. Yeah.
But yeah, not well, better. But when it's your own kids and you're with them every day, like they're not good.
Man, they know you.
They're horrible.
And I won't even say that.
Yeah.
Right. So I get in trouble sometimes. I'm like, come here, you little terrorist. And my wife was like, hey, you call our kids a terrorist? I'm like, all right, you're right. And I just whisper to him, you're a terrorist. It's like, you know what you're doing. You know what you're doing. That was on purpose. No, I don't care about you being one. you know?
Right.
So, yeah, I know exactly what you mean, man. And someone asked me, how's it having kids? And I was like, it's lovely and relentless, right? It's just constant, and they know which buttons to push. They know how to get what they want and get under your skin. That's the difference between babysitting. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the hardest, best thing you'll probably ever do.
Oh yeah. But aren't all the hard things the best things? Like, I mean, you play a lot of video games.
Yeah.
When you're sitting, because my kids still try to figure me out. Like, it's like, why don't you just never play that game again? Like, if I'm playing Madden, like I'm trying to teach myself 2K finally. And I'm just like yelling at the screen and God, that gum, It's like, why don't you just not play? It's like, no, man, this game is great. What are you talking about? That's how I feel about my kids, man. It's like, it's so frustrating because you want to do well at it. You want to be successful.
Right.
And you're willing to grind. But I'm telling you, when you have those moments and you're, have a successful moment, forget about it.
Yeah,
it's
for
the
sure.
best thing in the world.
Times where I bought home, I don't know, good grades or this project or that project, or did well in a sport. Like, it's uplifting for you as a parent to feel like you helped get them to that point, at least in some degree.
Right.
Yeah, it feels freaking fantastic. It's probably no better feeling than that.
I know, man.
As a parent.
Wait, what was it? I'm looking at the panel. I'm looking at the monitor here. Like, well, we'll talk about that after the show because I feel like there was a little hiccup. Was like, as a parent, like, is there some other feelings out there?
Oh yeah, there's a lot.
Yeah, man. So, What's the last thing Craig Juday did to get in trouble with the missus?
All right. So I think it was, at least in my mind, it was a couple nights ago. You know, it was Friday night because, yeah, it was or Thursday, Friday. Anyway, earlier this week, she was wanting like Netflix and chill, just watch a movie, Netflix and chill, whatever. And this was at like 3:30. Anyway, the markets had like only 30, 45 minutes left of being open. So I was like, hold on, just give me this 30, 45 minutes of these markets. I need this time, these last 30, 45 minutes are some explosive minutes. Like, just let me zone in here. And like 10 minutes went by. And she comes back out of the room over to my computer and she's just giving me this stare, like just looking right over my shoulder. And I'm like, I'm almost done. I'm almost done. And then, I kind of ruined the moment. And then I went to the bedroom to Netflix and chill. And she's like half asleep, mad, but I was like, trying to do my thing, and she was wanting my time. She was a little peeved, we'll call it. Yeah. The last fight was probably not fight, but she wasn't thrilled with me right then and there. But I was trying to get those last 30 minutes, and
listen. Dang. Let me help you out, brother. You never say, "But I no." Wrong.
Yeah, I mean,
right. It's always, you know what? I should have set that aside and gave you the time that you were obviously needing. Right? This whole relationship thing is like the market, right? You're going to have how many days, when it's all said and done, how many days, months, years, right? You got to pick and choose those battles, man. Like, every now and then you're going to have to be like, you know what? That last 30 minutes ain't worth
it. Yeah. I mean, in hindsight, you're right. Like, hindsight. But that particular day, I left work early, and I was excited about getting to come home, get on my computer, do some trading, and then I'm getting to the last hour of the market open, which is the craziest power hour. They call it power hour. So I was amped up, ready to go. And then, she wants to Netflix and chill. And I mean, that kind of, yeah. But in the moment, she was right. Because we don't have a lot of afternoons either where we get to spend together, like kid free. So I get it. And yeah, that was probably the last one, was that one.
Oh man, that's crazy how similar we are, because it wasn't day trading. I can't even remember. That's how minuscule it is, right? I can't even remember, but I know I had set aside some time because I wanted to get something done, and then the moment hit, and it's like, all right, just give me a little bit of time. That's such a killer for us, man.
That was like, I'm the type 2. I don't know what. I know there's different type personalities. I think it's maybe type A. I don't know, but I'm the kind of person that when I have a plan in my head, like I want it to work. And if that plan doesn't go accordingly, it just throws me off. Like I don't know.
Oh, Craig. You know what you suffer from?
What?
Dad vision or dad view, right? I'm gonna put like, even it can be just a family outing, it can be a vacation, right? I'm gonna take them here. They're gonna be excited. I'm gonna say this. They're gonna laugh. Like, it's just this thing that happens where we're just like, I see everything how it's gonna go, right? I got 30 more minutes. It's power hour. I'm gonna finish this up and go in here and be the best Netflix and chill right partner ever, right? And then any kind of skewing of that can really mess it up, man. The dad view.
What's funny is my dad was exactly like that. When we were going up, he was exactly like that. To the point where you mentioned you go on vacation. He would take us on vacation and have all this stuff planned out, and if something didn't go quite right, it just ruined it. I've turned into my father.
Oh man, those commercials. Whoever thought of that campaign, man, like, kudos to you, man, because that's such a real thing.
It is. It is. So many.
And afterwards, it's the same thing. I'm like, look, sorry, we call them around here dad bads. But you know what? That's a dad bad. All right. Just when I watched this movie, I think there was one time we watched like I feel like it was Dennis the Menace or Beetlejuice, one of those, right? Both of those, and you don't right,
great movies.
Right. That's thank you, right? But I'm reading the room, and it's like, how much more time is left in this? It's like, no.
Yeah.
I do not like this.
Yes, I've had those where I'm so amped up to make them watch a movie that I love as a kid, and now they just ain't into it. And it sucks.
Yeah.
I'm all hyped up about it, and they just, they
Yeah,
crush
man.
it.
I don't know. I
But
don't know what that is. Dad
dad
bad.
bad.
Look, that's a dad
I don't like
bad.
that.
Look, when I was your age and I watched this, I was really excited. Whatever, whatever.
And my dad did that to me too. He used to watch Andy
Yeah.
Griffith when
Hey,
I was
that's a
a
dope
kid and
show
tried to
though,
get me
man.
to watch it.
That's a
I
dope show.
hated it. No, I hated it. I was like, this
Yeah.
is the most boring show ever. Nobody does anything wrong. It's all happy go. I wasn't into it. Now I'm doing the
Mm.
same. See it? That's twice doing the same things to my kid that he did.
Well, I think for me it was almost like science fiction. It's like, what? Get out of here. People just walking around the street whistling.
Yeah,
Like, come on, man. I
it didn't
know,
seem
I
real.
know.
I
But
wasn't
for me, it's
into
like
it.
science fiction. I actually like stuff like that.
He
Spin and
was.
Marty. Do you remember that at all? It was a weird
No,
Disney show. It was black and white, way before our time. But they used to throw it on, I guess, to kind of get kids to get off and go to bed. Like, well, that was a weird way to say it. To get kids to turn off by putting this old school black and white show. It was like
something we
yeah,
didn't
it's
want.
like a rich little boy and a poor boy at a camp, and they learn to get along. I don't know, it was something stupid, but yeah, I was obsessed about that show. I don't know why I like stuff like that. I don't
I don't know
know.
about that one.
Yeah, man. So when you know that you're in a pickle, right? If your dad batting or Jasmine's feeling like, hey, let's have some time just us, and you're like, 30 more minutes. How do you get out of those situations later? Like, what's your go-to move?
She'll probably have a different answer than me, but I don't really think I have a good answer to this anyway. I think the only way I probably get out of it is I think I have just a handful of things. One is
Yeah.
time. It's gonna take time. Two, I try to feed her. And three, I'll try to
Yeah.
watch some sort of movie that she wants to watch. So food and letting
Yeah.
her pick a show, but food helps
Yeah.
and just time. Um, yeah, like if I offer to go to Sonic and get
Mm.
a shake or I don't know whatever it is she wants for dinner,
Just
sushi,
letting her pick.
steak,
It's like,
Buffalo
yeah,
Wild Wings. Yeah. Sure, try to appease her with that. That
mm,
helps, but still
time is
time.
the best thing. Heals all wounds, they say. Yeah. I know for me,
Yeah,
I know for my,
she just needs
so
a
this
moment.
is probably diabolical. She's not in here and she won't edit this for a while. So here we go. So what I would do is like, I'm all about like sting operations, movies and entertainment, right? So I'll set up a scenario for her to kind of win. Does that make sense? I'm not trying to give away everything, but like maybe I'll throw some stuff on and just be like, huh, this is interesting. Like not really trying to watch it, but I guess I'll just leave it on the TV. I mean, that's I don't know. Does that make sense?
But what? Something
Yeah,
she'll be interested
but
in?
but it has to be.
Okay,
So it
okay,
has
okay.
to be
I got.
something that she knows I hate, right? So it's not very much
Ooh,
out there because I'm pretty whimsical. I like everything. I give everything a shot at least. But something,
but
but
she knows you're
something that
doing
she
it.
knows that I hate, and I leave it on, or yeah, any little thing, right? I'm not. I can cook, like it is edible, but if I'm the one getting in there and cooking and then doing the dishes or whatever, like anything that she knows that I hate, right? It's this very purposeful thing. And she's like, ah. All right, man. It's hard for her to stay angry, so that's my. You can keep that one. Yeah.
Okay, I thought I put it in my back
If
pocket.
there's anything out there that you're like, hey, I would like for you to, right? But she knows that you hate and you just do it on your own, especially without asking, man. There's nothing you can't get away with. Sorry,
I
wife.
got you.
I'm just looking around like she can pop up. Like, nah, that ain't true. Mm-mm. So, what's one of Craig Juday's guilty pleasures?
Man, still to this day, um, video games. Like I
Mm.
still to this day. Like as a matter of fact,
Mm-hmm.
Chris Thompson,
Yeah,
Justin
man.
Goats. Yeah, I still play with them
What's
quite a
your
bit.
game of poison?
Video game.
Especially with them. What do all three of y'all have in
We
common?
we typically play, yeah, what everybody else plays. Call of Duty.
Mm.
We play a lot of Call of Duty. That's still my guilty pleasure because there's days when I come home and I'm like, man, I need to study. I need to see what's
Right.
up with these markets, or I need to, do some dishes, or do something with kids, wife, whatever, and it's like, that Call of Duty looked real good though, and I just sneak my way over to that Xbox play for what
Yeah.
feels like 30 minutes, but it's really like
Oh
two
man,
hours.
never feels like enough time.
As a matter of fact, that got me in trouble last night.
Oh
Now I think
no, it's
about it.
another. We got a
She was
bonus that
hungry.
bad.
Yeah, she was hungry. She wanted food, and I was like, all right, let me just finish this game, and I'll go pick us up some food. Well, like 2 hours later, and she's still hungry, So what felt like 30 minutes was like 2 hours. So she was
Oh
hangry
no.
at that point. Didn't go well. Yeah. So yeah, I still play the game on occasion. Not as much as I used to, or the variety of games
Yeah,
that I used to. I
yeah.
still play. I haven't played a Madden or an NBA game in a long
Man.
time. Long time. Um, I can't remember the last time I played either one of those games. In real, I used to love NCAA, like the
Yes.
football game,
Yeah,
NCAA
man.
football. But they quit making it, so then I just quit playing the football games. I don't care for
Dude,
Madden like that.
Brian and
It's
I.
not
Now
my
Brian was a
thing.
talented one, right? I just like I'm one of those
Yeah, he was
weird
pretty good.
people
He was
who
good.
I literally used to watch my cousins play God of War, and I'll just sit back and watch like it was a
Yeah,
movie.
yeah,
I was
yeah,
like, man, this is great. Hey, you want to turn? It's like, no,
yeah.
no, just
I
keep
mean,
going.
that's a,
This is great.
me and Brian Zayden, we used to battle
But
in NCAA. Like we would play for
do you remember
hours
the hat
battling.
thing?
Yeah, he'd pick up his hat, throw it on the floor. Hell yeah, yeah, I remember
Yeah,
that.
man.
We we used to be pretty intense between the two of us because he'd be throwing his hat, kicking it, and we'd be
Mm-hmm.
cussing, and yeah, we'd have some
Yeah,
battles on
dude, he's
NCAA
renowned
for
for his
sure.
passion of the
Hat
game.
throwing.
We'll call it passion. Do you remember the time that I beat both of y'all on the
Yeah,
same night, and it never happened?
made up. Sounds made up.
I know. I hardly believe in myself. I feel like we just got it. It was you, myself, and Brian. And
We just got NCAA.
I feel like just trying to figure stuff out or whatever. I
Yeah,
forget who I got. It was a ridiculously good team, and just randomly doing stuff, and it just
you
worked
probably
out well.
picked the Texas team with Vince Young or something, or USC with
Hey
what
man,
was it, Matt
I am
Leonard and Reggie Bush and
probably so it was something crazy. Like there was no way that I don't think it was Texas because I'm traditionally a Texas fan. Maybe it was with Vince Young. That makes sense, especially running out the pocket there. But yeah, man, I used to love especially seeing you two go at it. Man, it was so great. Brian is hilarious.
yeah, we used to have some bad. Man, as a matter of fact, Sydney, we'd have some fights with Sydney. Me and Sydney would have some
Oh my
fights. Brian and
goodness.
Sydney would have some fights. I think, as a matter of fact, thinking back on it,
Uh,
there was probably times that like me and Sydney was ready to fight each other, or Brian and Sydney was ready to fight each other, knowing damn well that Sydney would have beat the hell out of me. Like
oh
Sydney would have
man.
whooped me down the street.
Oh my
But
goodness.
damn it, in the moment, I was like, all right, let's go. But that would have been a mistake.
Yeah.
But yeah, we probably used to fight over that type of
Oh
stuff.
my goodness. I can remember being at Brian's house, and I feel like it was me, Sadiq, and you know how smart Alec he can be. Me, Sadiq,
Yeah.
Sydney, and him. And Sydney was playing. This was NCAA basketball. Imagine that.
Yeah, yeah.
And so he's got Syracuse, and he's shooting with one person, going to one spot, and making it every time. I feel like it was just a glitch. And Brian is putting he's doubling them, and he's pulling over a third person, and it didn't matter. And oh my goodness,
Just
you
hitting it.
just see sneaking out, just slowly get up. I was like, all right, we're out of here.
Oh,
Before
yeah,
this volcano goes
those
on.
games, you get emotional over those
Yeah,
games.
man. That was some good times, especially just staying up and literally having nothing to do. And if you did, it
That's
was
what
very small, so it was like, yeah,
That's when we had all the time in the world because you could play the game for 5 hours at
mm,
night and then 6 hours the next day and still had 3 or 4 hours to go play basketball or do whatever you wanted to
yeah.
do. Like, man, now I don't feel like I have an hour a day to myself.
You think we could pull something off of hey man, once a month, baby, I need you to just hear me out. Once a month, give me one weekend where we're just
All right, so
you take care of everything. Because I don't know if you noticed, man. Because when I went to Tennessee, it was for over a month, and my wife gave me that time, and it was it was so crazy, you know. We have 4 kids, so there's 15, 11, 3-1, and just she
Bless you.
just took all that on, and like so I was out there to like talk to Paco and a lot of people about this podcast stuff, and see
Yeah.
family that I hadn't seen in a year or so, and just visit. But man, I just really like, even now thinking about it, it's like, man, that's a messed up deal, you know. But there are
I
plenty of
think
times where I just take the kids and I disappear and give her time.
yeah, that's what I think. I think feasibly we could maybe get a weekend or a Saturday, whatever.
Mm.
But we would have to give them that in return.
Oh yeah,
You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? So like we give them that,
yeah.
and then they gave us that, and it was a planned thing. Like if I tell Jasmine, look, on the third Saturday in October, like that's my
Yeah.
day. Pre-plan it, kind of like this.
Yeah.
I had this pre-planned, like knew what was up. The kids knew what was up, pre-planned. Yeah, and then pay it forward another day. Yeah, well, maybe swing it.
See, that's the thing there. That's exactly what we were talking about here. Like, it's not just this fairy tale, like, oh, we just happen to be happily ever after, right? It's work. But man, when it comes together and actually works out, man, it's such a beautiful thing. Yeah.
For sure. It's again like the kids, man. It's the hardest, best thing you'll ever do.
Best thing you'll ever do. So let's circle back to this day trading thing, man. Because I know.
Here we go.
I watched. I asked you earlier if you kind of use social media or anything else to kind of pick up on leads. I asked you that because there was a show that I watched. I feel like it was Silicon Valley or something, and the guy's just kind of rambling. He was like, mustard seeds. He was like, where do they ship from? All right, what's the winter like, or what's the weather like? Right, there's been a huge migration, and he's just going through all this stuff, and he was like, okay, put me down for X amount on this company. And it was like, what? Why? He was like, just do it. And then like he made like a crazy amount later on. Do you come across people like that?
I found this on the web.
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry about that.
No, you're good. I don't. It hasn't worked like that for me. And if people, thing with Twitter is and social media, man, like you're only gonna see the best. You know what I'm saying? It's the highlight reel. You're not gonna see when people lose. They're not gonna post their losses. Somebody could win. I say win. Somebody could make $5,000, but and they'll post that and be like, "Look what I did! Awesome trader, yada yada, made $5,000." But little do you know, maybe 10 minutes before that, they lost $8,000. You know what I'm saying? So you don't know. So Twitter's a highlight reel. Take everything you see on there with a grain of salt as far as trading is concerned. But now I've not seen anybody talk about mustard seeds and forests and this, that, and the other and come out making $1 million. But I have a very different process.
Okay.
But I've never seen anything like that.
Yeah, because so you watch all this, Hollywood stuff. Like, hey, the pandemic. Like, what if a pandemic happens? First thing to go with water, toilet paper, stuff like that. Or did any of this stuff kind of play into how you make your decisions?
Yeah, the pandemic has created some crazy opportunities. Man, the COVID plays has been the main one. These companies you've never heard of, like I said, complete crap companies that are worthless, in debt, make no money, no revenues, nothing. But they post up some BS articles or something about COVID cure or respiratory therapies, or man, I remember June was a crazy month because the pandemic really started to take hold here in the U.S. March-ish, when it really got crazy and became wildfire. So April, May, we were still trying to figure it out, and then like June got to the just perfect storm of where we knew what COVID was. We knew we needed vaccines. So you had all these companies coming out of the woodwork saying, oh, we got therapies, we got cures coming, we got this, we got human trials. And you would have these stocks run from 30 cents up to $5, $6, $7, which I know doesn't sound a lot.
No,
but when you
like per stock.
When you think about buying 10,000 shares of a stock at 35 cents and then it runs up to $7, dude, that's thousands, tens of thousands of dollars that somebody's making off of these companies that are just talking about COVID-19. So yeah, absolutely. COVID-19 plays were huge. Anything that had to do with sanitizing, hand sanitizers, air sanitizers, Even water and medical equipment sanitizers was big. And then you even had things as small. I say as small. Obviously, masks are a big deal, but you had these companies that had some revolutionary mask. Just complete BS. You read the story and you're like, this is the dumbest thing I've ever heard. But like, it would make the stock run up like 500%. Like, it was insane. June was ridiculous.
What kind of regulation comes with that? Like, because you can't just jump on there and say whatever, can you?
That's the thing. That's where these things are so sketchy. These companies put out what are called press releases, and they can almost put whatever they want into these press releases. Almost. There's still some legal things that they got to be careful of, but they can almost put whatever they want in these press releases. Put a big long piece of paper out with a bunch of jargon on it. The top of it is the headlines, of course, that everybody's reading the top parts, the best parts. But down at the very bottom in fine print, you have these, these are forward-looking statements. These have nothing to do with our financials, a bunch of legal jargon to protect themselves. But people don't read down that far.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? They read the headline. The headline could say something like COVID-19 cure in human one-phase trials. And you read further down into this press release, and the bottom few lines say, we've tested one person.
Oh, no.
It's just complete crap and sketchy, but people don't, really research it, and they're just going crazy buying whatever they can buy. So, yeah, man, the markets have been crazy, and the amount of plays in the last 4, 5, 6 months now at this point has been, we'll never see anything like this again, probably. Between Trump and COVID-19 and just the economy and the markets in general, it's been amazing. Wow. Yeah, so I remember seeing a play. It was a toothbrush sanitizer that ran up like 300%. A toothbrush sanitizer, like ridiculous. Yeah, because the COVID-19 was linked to it. Yeah, it's just crazy. That type of stuff though was what was happening these last few months.
Anything come through for you? It was attached to COVID. It was like, let me check it out. You read through?
I've had some good COVID plays. June actually was one of my best months that I've ever had trading. June, we also had, you may or may not heard about it. I call the Trump pump. Trump during one of his press releases mentioned this one particular company, and this company went from like $6 a share up to $60 in a day.
Is that allowed though? Is that allowed?
There was a lot of on the back end. There was a lot of lawsuits and some issues there that these CEOs, CFOs, and the companies as a whole have had to face. But that's how crazy the market was. Like, Trump mentioned this one company that was complete crap, and it's $6 to $60 in a day.
That's
like
nuts.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Do you think is that his purpose? Is that why he does that? You think he's like crazy like a fox, smart, or just like saying random stuff?
Honest. That's the thing. I can't figure the dude out. I don't know if he's either a genius or just like, I don't know. I can't figure it out. He's either a genius or just so stupid that like he just says random stuff and crazy stuff. I don't know. I can't figure that out. I really can't.
Oh my goodness. Oh, do you know who John Mulaney is?
Yes.
Have you heard that bit about Trump being a horse loose in the hospital? And
yes.
Like, you're just hearing this stuff, and every now and then it's like the horse used the elevator. It's like, wait a minute, is the horse smart?
It's a very relevant.
Yeah, please go check that out, people. Whoever, all 3 people watching, right? And also, yeah, man. I'll tell you what, like, comedy just saves my life. Like, I don't know what I would do, especially during this pandemic. Me and my wife just consume so much; it's ridiculous.
You got to do something to make you laugh throughout this crazy.
Yeah, another one you got to check out is what's his name? Bill Burr. You like him?
Yeah.
Oh man, he's so wonderfully angry.
Yeah.
He's like, if I had like an inner conscience, behind the cheesy smile all the time, that would be my voice, man. Bill Burr. Just this like.
My wife loves Trevor Noah.
Yeah.
And you know who? The Rude Jude show, Jude Angelini.
No. I think that's who's on that. Oh
everybody.
man.
He said
I
everybody.
feel
It's
like I
on
saw a
the.
clip on YouTube. I was like, man, I'm gonna check that. It's one of those things of like, man, I want to check that out. Yeah.
Yeah, he's on. What do you call it? XM radio. I
Mm.
don't know the station. I don't have. I listen to podcasts all the time, so I don't know the station. But she listens to him all the time,
Mm.
and I've listened to him too. I've read his book. He's got an autobiography. Dude's hilarious,
Rude
and you
Jude.
got to Jude Angelini.
Oh, Jude, but is Rude Jude's the name?
Rude Jude is like his radio handle.
Uh,
But his real name is Jude Angelini.
Angelini. Okay.
Hilarious.
Yeah, man.
Dude, trip.
See, stuff like that. We need more of that because I know.
And he's 100% real. Like no filter. Like he's just gonna put it straight out there.
See, that's why I like Bill Burr because it's like he's trying to be filtered, but he just can't contain like his actual thoughts. Like
he's not very good.
Yeah, right. I love that struggle because you look at him talk about. I think in his last one, Paper Tiger, he was talking about he and his wife sitting and watching the Elvis documentary. Oh, It was hilarious. Like he said something because they're a blended family as well. He is like white, like Irish, angry, white, right? And his wife is black. And they're watching. He was saying that they were watching this Elvis documentary with two different sets of eyes, and so it got to a point where they had to pause it and discuss some stuff. But really, I know I'm butchering it, but when it gets to the part where he's like, "All right, yeah, I got to laugh. All right, I'm a comedian. There's got to be a bigger laugh out there." And he just kept going. And it's just like, "Oh, that's messed up." It always gets to one of those moments. But yeah, we gotta check some of that stuff out, man. So
I have to watch more Bill Burr. I haven't watched a lot of him.
Oh man, he's so hilarious. That angry, like, oh, man, I need people to jest, He speaks to us dads out there. Yeah. Joe Rogan's another good one. Like I like all dad comics.
Yeah, I listen to his podcast. I like his stuff.
Oh man, so crazy. Any promotions or anything that you want to get out there?
I don't have any promotions. I said my day trading thing is just my own thing, No promotions. That's part of the reason I keep Twitter like off the grid is because I don't want random people following me. So I have random stuff coming through my feed. I just want to keep it straight up trading and straight up companies. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to see all the crazy stuff.
Yeah.
I don't care about the social part of it. I'm just using it for like information.
You don't care about the Lakers filing a complaint with the NBA that LeBron James isn't getting enough free throws.
The amount of sports I watch nowadays is so minimal.
Yeah,
like I used to watch sports religiously, and now like I can't remember the last time I've sat down and watched the whole game. It's been forever, years since I've legit sat down and watched the game, start to finish.
Yeah, man.
I just don't have the desire to do that. I'd rather like plug in and read something or learn something. I don't know, man. That's one thing that's changed a lot.
Well, yeah. So when you talk about like not having time or even the desire to, right? Like you talk about whatever sport that was on, I was there. Like I was there for the FIFA stuff. I was there for NBA, NFL, of course. Like I watched some hockey. Like I watched some weird shin kicking competition once. During the pandemic, my wife and I dragged the kids into.
That sounds cool.
Yeah, I know it's crazy. Bro. It's a real thing that exists, man.
Man, that's don't like that.
No, man. But I'll tell you what. During the pandemic, we stumbled upon this weird thing. I feel like we saw it on like John Oliver or something, and we watched it just kind of like ironically at first, but then it was like, man, this is getting pretty real. Like we're calling out different marbles and stuff. So we brought the kids in. So it's marble racing. Have you seen this?
I have not.
So that's how bad it can get, man. Marble racing. Like it's different kind of marbles, and they all got names. You got a person commentating. It's different tracks. They're water tracks. Oh.
No, I've never seen anything like
crazy,
that.
Man. Just look it up. It's like it won't last. It won't last. But just look it up and just see what people are doing out there to stay sane. I know. Oh man, hey, thank you for coming.
Yeah, man, it's been cool. Like I said, I man, I wanted to support it for sure. I think what you're doing is awesome. Just doing something you're passionate about. Entrepreneurship is exciting. And I think the same thing of what you're trying to do versus what I'm trying to do with trading. Dude, you're going to have so many people rooting on you to fail. Yeah. It's insane. People that want to see you fail, just they want you to like fit this system and not do something cool and exciting and succeed with it. But man, I look at that as fuel, man, because it's just going to be there whether you like it or not. People are silently watching and waiting in the background for you to fail.
And it's so weird. I'll tell you, the other show, Keeping Sydney Calm, it's a whole other job in it. So it's like, hey, man, you're okay. Like, we're just having fun here. You don't have to worry about all the other stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, I see him get on Facebook and he'll post something, where he's, and I get it. I mean, he gets pissed off because people are, hating on it or whatever. But man, it's gonna happen. People want to see y'all fail. People want to see me fail. They want to be like, I don't want to, fail at day trading because they just want to see me get into this, be a cog in the machine at work type of thing. And you know how it is, man. But yeah, so I'm rooting for you, man. I think what you're doing is awesome. I think it's cool as hell.
I had no idea you were day trading, man. That's gonna be real. I'm definitely gonna pay attention.
Yeah, I could talk about it, man. I could go all day. Yeah. It's just my thing, man. I could talk about it.
Next time I can trick you back on to the show. We'll do more of a
rabbit hole.
Yeah, more of a you kind of walk through some specific steps, man. What you really like about it, how you want to improve yourself, and if someone is taking it seriously, doing the research and all of that, how they can get started. I mean, that'd be a cool thing to see out there, man. Like for me, especially all the language that you and my wife may use, it's really I don't know what's the word for it, just over my head at times. Yeah,
foreign language.
Yeah, so that's really cool, man. And say hello.
Yeah, there's a lot of jargon that goes with it. Just, yeah, for sure.
Well, there you have it. That was Craig Juday, wonderful super day trader, and this has been What the Frout. Thank you very much.
Yeah, man, I appreciate it.
No
Good time.